Good morning and good afternoon. My name is Stephen Beach. I'm producer of the Apple Bite Extra Crunchy podcast with your host, Mr. Brian Tong.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Hey, it's episode 118, Apple Bite Extra Crunchy. We're here in the studio, live together, like in the same place, San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
Baby, that's how we do it. Again, this is the show that's kind of our complimentary piece to the actual Apple Bite podcast, the video show that's weekly. We have new stories that keep on happening because in the Apple world, everything drops constantly. To be a part of the show, we get tons of calls from y'all, and we continue to do that. The number to call us is at 1-800-616-2638. 1-800-616-2638. Leave your name, where you're from, and then just get into your comments. I think this week, because we scolded people and said, okay, no more 2-minute calls, you guys tightened it up for us, which we appreciate. So I think we're going to have a lot more. We're actually going to be able to get through more calls today, right?
Yeah, it's great. We get a lot more calls because they're shorter. So I think we have like
that benefits everyone here, but we appreciate it and everything. All right, let's jump in the show. We know the big story this week, the big headline story this week. The HomePod is finally out. It was released to multiple outlets and YouTubers for review. CNET has their own, but because we're this like big, what I call the big red machine, they gave us a HomePod unit to our smart home crew. They're based out of Kentucky, and so they actually have our review. Obviously, you can check out CNET's own or others. I will be personally getting mine tomorrow, and then I'm just going to be goofing around with it. You know, a lot of times I like to spend extensive time with it, so you'll get my review. I kind of have like a little more laid-back, casual style about it, and I want to really deliver what it does great. And we know everyone is raving about the sound, which is kind of what we expected. The sound is the focus for Apple, but beyond that, you know, everything we kind of know about. A $349 price tag, Siri's not that smart, and I will dive into exactly how smart it is or isn't. But I can tell you right now, I think the biggest thing that people are frustrated about, and again, this doesn't surprise us, but this is kind of par for the course when you talk about how Apple does things. Sure, it supports all of Apple's services, and Apple Music recently, there was an announcement how Apple Music subscribers, actual paying subscribers, had hit something around 30 million subscribers in the U.S. They don't say they say they're paying, but I wonder how much of that is at least the initial trial. But that's a huge number, and really, when you look at this device, it is made for someone who is strictly in the Apple ecosystem. And I'm talking about someone who uses Apple Music, someone who uses iCloud matching, and someone who has the iTunes Match service, and then purchased songs that they own from iTunes. It's for you. There is no headphone audio 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on it. There's also, this is the biggest bugaboo for me. We're all conditioned to connect to any type of Bluetooth speaker we want to. This HomePod has Bluetooth 5.0, but it does not support any phones to stream music over Bluetooth. It only supports iPhones running iOS 11.
Are you serious?
So what that means is you have a non-iPhone, you can't connect to the HomePod. If you have an iPhone that doesn't have iOS 11, you can't use it with the HomePod. And also, no one has really dug deep into what happens if you have Apple Music, but you're on an Android phone. My assumption is you'll put in your credentials, but you really have to talk directly to the HomePod. You won't be able to stream or control your Apple Music collection from your Android phone. So, that's my assumption based on how Apple is doing this. No one's really dug into that. Also, just subtle things, how the Siri on the HomePod, believe it or not, is more limited than Siri on your phone. So you're not even getting the same Siri, meaning you can't do the same things. It's kind of crazy, but Apple is targeting a specific market for this. And until I get my hands on it, we'll really see. But overall, everyone says the sound is on point. But if you want to pay $350 for a speaker, and it better sound the best in its class for that price. But beyond that, it's really for the diehard Apple loyalists, and there will be software updates. The other thing to mention, we have talked about this, AirPlay 2 is not ready yet, so you will not be able to buy 2 HomePods right now and use them in stereo sound, which is one of the features they promised when they announced it. And also, there is no multi-room support, so you can't put 2 HomePods in 2 different rooms and locations and play the same music from it. Right now, it's just the HomePod. So it is coming out Friday. To mention also about pre-orders, for the longest time, these were readily available, but right now, at least in the UK, they're delayed out until February the 13th, which is 3-4 days. I think Australia has a 1-week wait time. That's really more on inventory, but just this morning, or really maybe last night, availability in the US changed from February 9th, which is launch day, to February 13th. So there are more people that are jumping on it, but it is the first Apple product that I can remember that took 2 weeks for it to even fulfill its pre-order and then get the date pushed back. I mean, that's never happened. So
yeah, I'm stoked to hear what it sounds like, man. I mean,
yeah,
that's the big selling point. It better sound great.
You'll get one here in the SF office tomorrow.
Sweet.
So, and the funny thing is, it's not like we can play songs that you know on it because of music licensing rights.
That's right.
We'll play generic songs that you don't know, but it's an interesting thing. I think it's just one of those products that really people in general, there are people that are excited about. I think the loyal Apple fans, the loyal diehard ones, but it is the most ecosystem locked product you could ever think of, quite honestly, that Apple has that Apple's used. You can even use AirPods on Android phones.
That's cool.
You can't use a HomePod as a music speaker over Bluetooth. That's a big deal to me.
That's been like most of the reviews I've been reading is like, it's great, but it's trapped in Apple's universe.
Super trapped.
So you kind of...
It's the trap pod. It's the trap pod. So anyways, check that out. We'd love to hear people by the time our next show comes up for the Apple Bite Extra Crunchy. Call in if you bought a HomePod. Let us know what your thoughts are. Give us your kind of quick 1 minute and a half mini review, what you like and what you don't like. We'd just love to hear from you to kind of contribute to just the overall feeling of what people are thinking about the HomePod. So there you go. All right. Also, a lot of iPhone news dropped this week as well. Apple released their second betas for macOS High Sierra. They released their second beta for iOS 11, which is really important, and the second beta for TV OS. But what we found that was the most interesting thing as part of this is that the iOS beta, it's the second beta, is the first time it introduced this actual new battery health feature from Apple. And so what does this battery health feature do? Basically, it does a variety of things. It tells you pretty much the condition or the capacity of your battery. Has that changed over time? Because we know with the 6, the 6S, and the 7, those are the phones through iOS 11 that were affected where they were throttled down if the battery wasn't great. And then we have this whole thing now where people are getting their batteries replaced. I don't know if we really have to get into how ugly it is, but we've talked about it like for the past 4 shows, so I'm not going to get into it as much. But this new battery health feature will tell you how your battery is doing. It'll also offer you the option to turn off the throttling feature, but this is in the beta too. So if you're part of the developer program, you can check it out right now. I don't, honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know if they released it for the public beta just yet, but this is out there and it's worth checking out. I think it's really cool that at least they've done and answered every question we have. The other nugget that I found out that came out really interesting from this is Apple then officially announced on their support page that the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10 are going to be less impacted by this performance management tool. And why did they say that? They say the actual physical hardware and software design of those 3 phones specifically should see less issues in regards to this whole, okay, if your battery performance is low, then we're going to throttle your phone down. And I think a lot of that has to do with there's a lot of co-processors and just really more raw power in the actual new iPhone 8s and the iPhone 10 with the new processors inside of it. And that's really what's kind of aiding those phones. I know everyone's worried, like, will I have to worry about this long term? We'll wait and find out. But at least right now, they are saying that the 8, the 8 Plus, and the 10 won't be nearly as affected by these battery performance management issues. I almost felt like I said performance issues.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really like the iPhone 6s that it affects
6,
mostly,
6S, and
right?
7 are,
Yeah.
I mean, 7 is having other issues beyond that, too.
Really?
Yeah, even just actual functionality issues as well. The other thing that I did want to mention is a quick story I kind of missed and skipped over it because there's just a lot to talk about, is that Recode recently reported as well that Apple, right now, they're not doing anything about it, but they are mulling over the idea or whether or not to offer rebates to customers who previously purchased full-price iPhone battery replacements because if you had a phone that was out of warranty before Apple basically made this reveal of what they were doing, people still went in and wanted to get their batteries replaced and paid $79 instead of the changed $29 price that they're now offering.
Yeah.
So Apple has directly said, yes, we are exploring this and we will update you accordingly. So we'll find out. There's a lot of users. You've got to win some good faith back. I know there's hundreds of millions of Apple fans out there, but do the right thing. They're sitting on, I think the number now is $280 billion of cash.
Yeah, they can kick down $40.
Do the right thing and just get it all granted.
Just this article coming out that they're mulling it over tells me that they're going to do it. They're just trying to figure out how to do it.
And they wouldn't even address it if they weren't pretty much going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
They would just ignore it.
So that they'd be like, "Oh, what problem? What issue? I have no idea what you're talking about."
What do you mean?
Another kind of new issue popping up that we are keeping an eye on, and this has been growing in the Apple forums, is been reported by the Financial Times that says a growing number of iPhone 10 users are unable to accept calls, and Apple is actually looking into this, investigating it. What's happening is the screen, which doesn't have a Touch ID button or physical button to prompt it. Sometimes people are getting calls where the screen stays off, and then they don't even get to see on screen visually the accept or decline button.
Oh no!
And so that hasn't happened to me yet, but it's something worth mentioning just because this is a growing thing in the support forums. I think it's around like a 15 or 20 page doc now, but even people that are having this issue, they've tried to restore their phones, redo the software, and they're still getting the same issue. So we're not throwing out any bad apples right now, just something.
That's a serious bad apple, though. If true, you got $1,000 phone, you can't answer the phone call.
Yeah, that could be a problem. That could be a problem. We also want to let you know that today's show is unsullied by any sponsorship or influence.
But that will change the next 3 or 4 weeks.
So basically, just to let you know, no one is paying us to sit here right now, other than CNET.
Yes. Thank you, CNET.
Thank
for paying
you.
us to sit here.
We're just messing around. All right, on to the other stories here. Just kind of some follow-up with Apple products across the board after their earnings report. We know about the Apple Watch. Apple still yet to reveal official sales numbers. They don't like to do that. So what we do is we lean on projections and ideas from other data analytics that really follow the market and the movement of actual units. So according to research firm Canalys, they estimate that shipments for the Apple Watch topped an all-time high of 18 million units last year in 2017. Now, that's an over 50% increase compared to the roughly 12 million units that were shipped in 2016. They say that of this breakdown, 48% of them were Apple Watch Series 3, while 52% of them were Series 2 or older models. Of the Series 3 purchases, around 13% of those customers opted in for the LTE model, which I did, and which is really the best version to do if you're an active lifestyle. Yeah, really. I mean, the Series 3 watch with LTE and Watch OS 4 transformed it completely. I've said it over and over and over. It's a legitimate product, and look, there's no surprise. Great hardware, great software, put them together. Even if it takes you 3 years to do it, and then finally the market is responding. Again, Apple won't reveal their numbers. They bundle this in with like the Apple TV, with accessories like the AirPods and their Beats sales, and even their HomePods. They'll be bundled together. So, look, it's been 3 years. It's not like Apple is doing gangbusters. Look, if they hit a benchmark of like 50 million Apple watches sold, we would have probably heard about it. Even 20 million, but we still haven't, because they brag about it so much when they hit those benchmarks. So, good news coming out from the Apple Watch. Another really cool story, staying in the same place, comes to us from this new study from a company called Cardiogram. And what they've basically found is that, according to the study, this is really their first large-scale study that demonstrates, how an ordinary heart rate sensor, something that we could find in the Apple Watch and others, even like the Fitbit, that it can actually really detect early signs of diabetes. And they did this by, they have this whole study that they've put out. They have people opt into it. But this is kind of crazy that we've talked about, although it may not be the sexiest thing, Apple using the Apple Watch to get into health and fitness, but really the medical field. And so from their studies, it suggests that the Apple Watch heart rate sensor itself can detect early signs of diabetes. The pancreas is connected to the heart through the nervous system, and according to their report, the heart rate variability changes when a person begins experiencing diabetes-like symptoms.
That's awesome.
Really cool. We also know that Apple has their own official Apple Heart Study. That's a partnership with Stanford. And so you can actually opt into that right now. I kept on getting notifications like opt in. So I'm like, forget it. I don't want to see this anymore. I'm just going to opt in. But they're trying to basically detect abnormal heart conditions, arrhythmia, and to see how they can connect that and really warn people ahead of time. I think there was a story about a gentleman who his heart rate kind of peaked and he didn't know what was going on. And he went to the hospital and they basically, I don't know if it was a stroke or not, but they caught his medical condition before it actually hit him.
That's huge, man.
So
that's like
this stuff is already happening.
Strike.
Exactly.
That's
this stuff
great.
is already happening. Yeah, I know. Not the sexy, but
no, that's sexy actually. You want to know. You want to know if your heart hasn't.
You do?
If your heart is like beating irregularly or too fast, you want to know that.
Well, I'm just telling you, just don't eat McDonald's every day. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, don't do that.
I mean, I love a Big Mac and a fish fillet, and I'll kill a 20-piece chicken McNugget in one sitting. I don't know about you.
Last night I got the 2 cheeseburger deal. I was in a hurry. I had to eat.
But it was good, wasn't it?
Wonderful.
It sucks because I could still do it, but there was a time where whenever I go to McDonald's, I literally would kill 2 Big Macs.
Two Big Macs?
2 Big Macs and a fries with sweet and sour sauce. I put the sweet and sour sauce in there.
I don't think I could do that. That's
Today,
impressive, man.
But I had to stop it because I'm like, this is probably not good for me.
Yeah. How do you feel like an hour after you eat McDonald's, you feel weird? You definitely feel different. You're like, oh, something's wrong.
It's called good. It's called satisfied. I'm just kidding.
There's something in the bottom of my stomach.
All right, just some news stories also. We're kind of throwing this under the bundle of maybe March announcements coming out. Historically, Apple has put out new product releases in March. Last year, it was like the iPhone. I think it was the iPhone 7 Red Edition. We also saw a new iPad Pro, the 9.7 inch, and then I think we saw a new MacBook as well. And if I recall right, I believe they bumped up the capacity of the iPhone SE as well. Those were kind of some of their announcements in that March time period. You guys can fact check me if you want to, but I believe those are kind of like some of the core products that came out. What we know right now, people have been asking what's going on with Apple's AirPower, their Maxi Pad.
Oh yeah, we got a call about that too.
So I'm gonna say they said 2018. We still have yet to see a new AirPods with the actual charging case. Right there. They showed off that there will be an actual AirPods that comes out with a rechargeable case that you can drop on this AirPower pad. The Apple Watch and iPhone will support it. So I don't know if they got their ish together. They delayed the HomePod, so maybe that might have delayed the AirPower. But let's put March on the calendar. Let's just call it right now. Let's just say March for fun.
All right, March.
March it is. I could be totally wrong. Also, iPhone SE 2, tons of rumors about that. Maybe we'll see something like that in March. I think the thing about the iPhone SE 2, there's still such a we get questions about it all the time.
I know it's a popular.
What's going on with the iPhone SE and that money 4-inch form factor that people still love? People still want that. I'm gonna assume that we see it sometime this year, but I think the big thing is that this SE2, because of just how it's advanced. If you look at the current iPhone SE, it feels like, it's basically like the iPhone 5 design. So there's no way in my mind,
which was a good design,
which was good. There's just no way in my mind that it would ever look the same. Like the iPhone SE 2 would at least be a modernized looking thing. I'm gonna throw it out there. By the time this has come out, Touch ID is, Force Touch might be in that screen, but I think they just need to release a refreshed iPhone SE 2. It's been a popular phone. It surprised Apple how well it sold. It surprised them how well it did.
Yeah, definitely.
And so there's no reason not to do this, even though I think the last time they showed their product line, it was like a row of like 6 or 7 different phones.
I do miss that screen size.
But would you go back? Would you go back?
I think I would. I know it would feel small and it would I'd take some getting used to. It'd be like, this looks really small. But, after a while, I think I would just be fine with it again. Because I had it for a couple of years before.
Yeah,
so
it was
I
legit.
Didn't have any problems with it.
It was legit 5 years ago. All right.
That's
just
how long
messing
it
with
was.
you guys.
Jeez.
I'm just messing around,
5
everybody.
years.
See, I think people sometimes have a complex when you make jokes about the tech piece that they have and they take it personally. It's like, it's not personal.
No, it's not.
But everyone always got to be personal when it comes to saying a bad thing about a product that they spent money for. I don't know why. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that.
Because they're worried that they made the wrong decision, maybe.
But that's fine. But then why take it as a personal attack?
I know.
Like, if I say something bad about the HomePod, they're like, you're so negative. I'm like, I'm actually just telling you the truth. Did I ever say I hate it? Did I ever say it's crappy? No, I just said it's not up to par with what's out there industry-wise. And yeah, it'll probably sound the best. And according to all reports, it does sound the best.
Yeah, it doesn't match up in terms of its brains, but in terms of its sound, it's superior. But I still think my THX sound.
That's what I'm talking about.
My THX system at my home probably
Humble
sounds
brag.
better. Yes, humble brag.
I also think my Dolby Atmos surround system probably sounds better.
Probably.
Humble brag. With a 12-inch subwoofer.
Wow. Yeah. I think I got like I think mine's like a
yours
10
is 10 or 12. You got to go 10 or
like
12.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even get to use it to its full capacity. I'm in an apartment. People complain when I thump that too hard.
I'm in a townhouse. I don't care. I'll just bump it. I hear my neighbors sometimes when they're bumping their movies.
Yeah. I heard a lot of bumping next door. All right. Woo! iPad news. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Do you believe this? Do you think, true or false, the iPad was the top-selling tablet last year? What do you think?
I believe that.
Are you looking at the headline or not?
No, I'm not
okay.
actually. But
here's another
that.
question. Do you believe that the iPad sold more units than Samsung and Amazon combined or sold less?
That's a tough one. I think maybe they sold more.
You are correct, Stephen Beacham.
Because those other ones, like you see those Samsung tablets and the other tablets, and they just look like toys. They look like things that are going to be in the garbage and in the near future. I don't know. They just don't look great.
Here, I'm not feeling it. So check this out. Research firm IDC released their results based on data that is, again, an estimate. Now, here's the thing. We know actual iPad units sold, physically sold by Apple, which totaled 43.8 million units in 2017.
Damn.
43.8 million. Now, again, IDC is estimating Samsung and Amazon. The key thing about this is these are units that Samsung and Amazon shipped. Shipping means going to retail doesn't necessarily mean 100% sell-through. Samsung shipped 24.9 million tablets last year, and Amazon shipped 16.7 million tablets last year. If you combine those totals, that's 41.6 million, which is 2.2 million lower than iPad sales.
Wow.
So while the industry continues to shrink, Apple's iPads pretty much stayed flat, which is a good thing because the overall market declined 6.5%. And again, one of my favorite toys, iPad Pro. Pro.
And the iPads, they last forever too. Like
aren't you still using like
3?
your iPad? Like, yeah,
my 3 is still rocking, dude. Like I have no issues.
That's what I'm talking about. It's legit. Another story that just came out this week in regards to the new iPad Pro that we'll again most likely see sometime this year. We know that everyone has kind of already talked about how it's most likely going to have some level of Face ID and minimum bezels. Apple engineers have applied for a new patent that was just surfaced that could indicate how the Apple Pencil will evolve. We don't know if this is going to come this year. It could be down the road. It could be never. But this new patent showcases and features an Apple Pencil, or a stylus, basically, that can be used outside the confines of an actual iPad. So it can be used on a laptop screen or on a desktop screen, which, okay, fine. Whatever, we already know the Microsoft
Wait. Touchscreen MacBooks?
I'm just saying the patent indicates it could be used that way.
Oh, wait. Are they changing their tune over there at Apple?
With a stylus, though.
With a stylus.
I mean a pencil, not a stylus.
Oh,
a pencil.
A pencil.
Now, here's the other thing that makes this cool. According to the patent application, there's going to be motion and orientation sensors in this stylus. Even something along the lines of a camera, who knows, not like a camera to take pictures per se, but we kind of jokingly like to call them force sensors, which would allow also this Apple Pencil to be used completely on a different surface like a table or on paper.
It could be gamified. They're going to try to gamify this thing.
Yeah, just
could it be like a almost like a gaming remote, like a controller, like a Wii remote or something?
Sure, or this could just be the first steps to be like, yeah, there is going to be an actual iPhone Note.
This is going to revolutionize Pictionary. I'm excited.
It's the best pencil you've ever used. The world's smartest pencil.
Yeah, it's the world's smartest.
Anyways,
pencil.
that is a patent. It doesn't mean it's actually happening, but there's always kind of some cool, fun nuggets just to see like what Apple is doing with tech when you talk about that stuff. All right, that's kind of the meat and potatoes of the stories. We got the calls because we got to show love. Yeah. Again, remember the number is 1-800-616-2638. Call us, name where you're from, and get to it, and let's chit chat, y'all.
Yeah, we had a lot of great calls, and they were short, so we can fit more into the show.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start with number 1. Here we go. Whoops, I still got music playing.
That's fine. I'm feeling.
Hey guys, Ben from Indiana. Love the show. Got a question for you. It seems like ever since iOS 11, my phone has not done well with geofencing and Bluetooth connection with my smart home. For example, I have Kivo smart locks that I'm supposed to be able to tap the lock in. It's supposed to unlock or lock the door. Geofencing for arming security cameras, for turning my lights on and off with if this and that. Just various things with my smart home. It just seems like that there isn't good recognition of the location services to make those things happen. I just wondered if you guys have noticed any of that as a problem with iOS 11. It seemed like with iOS 10, it was perfect. It worked great. So I wonder what you thought. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I experienced, I haven't experienced what you have, but the biggest thing is when iOS 11 came to the table, all of a sudden my Bluetooth stopped working the same way with my home theater, where, I just pump Bluetooth audio into it, and also even connecting to not my car, but my girlfriend's car. Like, for whatever reason, it stopped, and so I had to repair that connection in the car, fine, but it still doesn't work the same way it does before. It's not as consistent. I had to actually update the software on my receiver, home receiver, audio receiver, in order for it to see the Bluetooth again, which I thought that was weird. I'm like, what? It's just Bluetooth. So once iOS 11 hit, some of those devices that I work with and that I connect with, they had problems, and some of them aren't acting the same. So I gotta imagine other people have similar issues as well, because it's not just isolated to me and you, bro.
I wouldn't know because I'm still on 10. Hey-o. Okay.
Smart guy.
Let's
Smart
go next
guy.
Call. My wife updated, and then she started reporting all these problems. I was just like, I'm not gonna do this.
Don't do it.
Oh. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Next call.
Hey guys, this is Juan from Orlando, Florida. Just wanted to give a call, guys, and tell you how a good job you guys are doing. I just wanted to say, Brian, this message is for Brian. I love how you when the AirPods came out, you said, "Oh my God, they're so hard to get," and now the HomePod comes out, and you're like complaining that we can get it right now. So just make up your mind. You complain for having it now, and you complain for not having it. Just messing around. I'm very excited for the HomePod, actually. I have Alexa at home, but every time I get visitors, I always play with her all the time, and kind of annoys me sometimes because she can respond to anybody commands. But Siri on the HomePod, like I like Siri on my phone because she only responds to my command. So when I say, "Hey Siri," she will respond. Not what everybody says, "Hey Siri." She only responds to me, and I like that feature a lot. So hopefully the HomePod will still have that. She will only respond to my voice, not to anybody else's voice. But cool, just a thought. Thank you so much, guys. Love the show. Keep up the good work.
I get a sense that he's very possessive of his technology.
Yeah, he wants a very obedient Siri.
He only talks to me. She only talks to me. No one else. Just me.
Don't talk to them.
Only me. Now, we know that Siri cannot support multiple users. So the thing about the HomePod is that she is actually made to respond to multiple people. So I don't know if that same voice coding, like you said, right? We know it. If I say the magic words to my phone, technically based on how I trained it, it shouldn't set off someone else's phone. But with the HomePod, it's actually supposed to be able to respond to multiple people, just not be able to identify multiple people from each other. But, if you don't have any friends, then Siri will only talk to you anyways.
True
that.
But
Also, I wasn't complaining about the availability of the products. I'm just making a point.
Yeah.
HomePod's not sold out after 2 weeks. Now they finally are 4 days out, but that tells you something about the demand for a product.
HomePod was not sold out after it was also delayed for a long time,
That's
right?
correct.
And the AirPods were delayed also.
But they were
Weren't
sold
they?
out for literally almost a year.
They were sold out
Not
for
a year. Not a year. Let me take that back. They came out in late December, and up to like July, August, they were still had a 4 to 6 week shipping time on Apple's website.
And that's right, because the iPhone 10 came out and the AirPods were not available when the iPhone 10 came out.
That
right?
is correct.
Yeah, see? That's what he's talking about.
You would complain about that too, bro.
Yes. Okay, next call. Here we go. Got a bunch more left.
Hey guys, this is Paul. I was calling about the Apple HomePod, and I was wondering why they didn't put it on some type of base that's almost like a wireless charger, and you can actually take it outdoors with you if you want to go barbecue outside in the backyard or something. Just wondering why they didn't think of that. Love your product. I love your show, and watching it right now. Thanks for everything, guys. You guys have a great one. Bye-bye.
I'll tell you why they didn't do that. HomePod 2.
HomePod 2.
It's like, come on, HomePod 2.
No, that's a great idea. I didn't know you couldn't unplug it and take it places.
Yeah,
with
it's they got rid of the headphone jack, but they still got the power jack.
you. Huh. Because I thought in that Diplo video, he was like carrying it around and moving it around.
Oh, that was the Google one.
Oh,
But also Google the Google Max is tethered down.
oh,
He was just
okay.
like rotating and stuff.
I see. Okay.
I'm
all
some
backwards.
of the mobile ones that let's see, you don't the Bose has a speaker that actually sounds really good. That's kind of like it looks like a mini lantern that's completely not wireless, but you can take it around you wherever you want to go.
Someone in the chat room is saying the HomePod is sold out now.
Well,
4
I'm
day
saying,
wait.
Yes, correct. 4-day wait. In the
Okay.
U.S., it is a 4-day wait. We mentioned that earlier in the show, but they are correct. There's a 4-day wait in the U.S., but until yesterday, it was still readily available.
Hmm.
And it was on pre-order for you had 2 weeks to pre-order it.
Cool. And then we also don't know how many units they actually produced of that.
Yeah, I mean, whether they did 10 million, 5 million.
I doubt they did millions. I don't know.
I think I could see them do like 5 million.
Think so.
They can make whatever they want. They're sitting on $280+ billion of cash. They could literally do anything they want.
That's an ocean of cash. Okay, here we go.
My name is Kino, and I want to know, has Apple lost it? What's wrong with their products now? How come they're so expensive? Why are they so buggy? That's my question. Thanks.
Cool.
I don't know. I don't. We're not gonna dig. If you listen to our show every week, you kind of. I think we've made it pretty clear it's not the same company, and all those questions that you had have been answered multiple times. We just liked how your call sounded.
Yeah, it sounded great.
It was like, dude,
Why are they so buggy?
I think it was his inner monologue just coming out in like this nice rhythm.
He put a nice like space in between
why?
each question.
Like, why? And then was it Kino or Kano? Because Kano.
Kino. Let me see.
It sounds
My name is Kino.
Kino.
Kino. That's a Vegas.
I believe
Vegas,
Kino was the
game.
name of Ernie. No, is it Kino or Keanu? Not Keanu. I think it was Kino. Was the name of Ernie Reyes Jr.'s character in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Kino.
I'll keep you.
Is that Rufio?
No,
That's
that's
not
not
Rufio?
Rufio is Dante Bosco. Sometimes people think that I'm Rufio, but I'm not. I'm going to look this up while we listen to the next call. I'm going to confirm Ernie Reyes Jr. was Keanu in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Okay.
Secret of the Ooze.
We got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reference and a Hook reference in the same minute. Okay, here we go. Next call. This one's real short.
Hi, my name is Max. I'm from Texas. I was just wondering if we'd be able to use dual HomePods as a stereo speaker set for Apple TV viewing.
So that's the idea, right? They want it to be stereo, but we just don't know about Apple TV.
It'll come down to AirPlay 2. Quite honestly, something tells me that you can. But I don't know this for 100% sure. I can't even remember. I can't remember if that was part of it. there is no actual, we don't have to worry about physical connections because all the audio is being streamed through their AirPlay 2 protocol and AirPlay. So I'm gonna say yeah, but we'll find out. It would they're so dedicated to that ecosystem that it would be silly for them not to. Now, whether it's not going to be available now per se, but I'm gonna say yeah because they've kept it so locked in. I don't know if someone's even looking at the spec sheet right now or knows off the top of their head, but I can't remember that one specifically for sure or not.
Okay. All right, we will find out.
I'll see if I'll try and find out too. Okay. Next up.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Apple Bike Nation, this is Preetham here. So I'm just calling in regards to the AirPower and the AirPod. Just wanted to check when any rumors or any anticipated date when the AirPower is going to come, because Apple just mentioned it's going to come sometime in 2018. And then in regards to the AirPods, they mentioned something like optional wireless charging case. And then there's also talk about an AirPod second generation. So are both these things referring to the same thing? So just wanted to know your thoughts and things like that and have a discussion about it. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, Beach, I was reading up IMDb to confirm what I thought was correct. So was he asking about AirPod 2?
Yeah, the charging case, the wireless charging case.
Like
for
when
the
is it
AirPods
coming?
And the AirPod 2.0. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we did talk about that early in the show that March is our guess, but we honestly really don't know. Can I really just quickly on a tangent, since it's towards the end of the show during a call section?
Please.
This is how good my freaking brain is. Ernie Reyes Jr. was Kino. Not Kinu. Kino. Just like our caller. And if you didn't know, Ernie Reyes Jr. was also inside the Donatello suit, but he wanted more FaceTime. So in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, he has to have a role. And I think
he's like the kid that tries to join their group.
Yeah. And there's a point where who gets kidnapped? One of them gets kidnapped, then he has to like run to them to get their attention. He's like, Raph, Don, it's me, Kino. Like he's trying to get their. I can't. This is way too much information that no one cares about except maybe me.
Yeah, and he was like stalking the turtles while they're like
a
fighting crime, and then he would like jump in and help them. And they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, dude. He also has a martial arts like studio called. I'm gonna stop now.
He's probably got.
Like I have a bromance crush on him.
He probably has tons of turtle memorabilia at his karate school.
This is awkward. Yes, I just wanted to confirm here the HomePod can be connected to Apple TV using AirPlay.
Nice.
Just want to let y'all know. It won't do stereo yet, but it can connect to your Apple TV.
But eventually we'll get stereo.
Yeah. So all you rich college kids who get a HomePod for your speaker system, congratulations. Like, seriously. Seriously, bro.
That was the best congratulations I've heard in a while. Okay, here we go. Last call. This is the last one.
Hey, Beach and Tong. It's David from Maryland again. I just wanted to leave another thought that I had, or I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I've read some articles that Apple was maybe rumors that they might be thinking about purchasing a Netflix or something like a Tesla to just, get Apple into a better space in that area. I personally would love if they bought a Netflix just because I feel like they could do a lot with the content that they already have. And they just haven't done a lot with Apple TV. I was always expecting Apple TV to be a service, an all-in-one service that Apple could offer where I could use for maybe streaming instead of cable, and also original content. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. Thanks, guys. Love the show. Bye.
Yeah, we haven't touched upon this for a while, but we've pretty much made it clear historically through this show. I think it was back in 2014, 2015, when Apple was working, rumblings were that they were working on a TV streaming service to get out there to the masses. But what Apple did is, because they're brash and they're cocky, they wanted to set the terms while doing this. The studios were like, no, we're the ones that control the content. We'll tell you how much, we'll charge for this content. Apple's like, no, give us the best deal. We're Apple. While this is happening, all the TV networks and studios and media conglomerates decided to, hey, These are terms to other companies. So what did you see? Sling TV, PS View, AT&T Direct TV now. All these other services. Now we have Hulu TV, YouTube TV. All these other companies were able to lock down deals for their own TV streaming service, and Apple couldn't do it. And it's a pure revenue stream source. Apple wanted to be, hey, we dictate the terms. Guess what? It worked back when the music industry was collapsing and trying to figure out ways to make money. Arguably, Apple helped usher in the generation of music being digital, for better or for worse, for the record. Better or for worse, for the record. But yeah, Apple has no TV streaming service. They have no revenue from that. There's always been talks about Apple then looking to buy Netflix. I would love for them to buy Netflix, keep it the same, integrate it into their system, and then just throw in additional content that Apple offers. But Apple can afford it, but they aren't doing it. I think if there's anything we'd see, it would be that. But we wouldn't see Apple do anything with Tesla.
Yeah, because Tesla actually just announced, I think last night, that they lost $600 million last year or something. So that wouldn't be a good buy for Apple. Even if really turn it around.
Even if Apple wanted to, you have to remember, it's not always even about the dollars with these deals. It's about philosophies. Elon Musk is our generation's Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah, he wants everything open
and
source.
So why would Elon Musk let Apple buy his company, at least today, unless he's extremely, extremely desperate and needs the cash for his vision to succeed? He has his hands in so many amazing projects. He doesn't need Apple again right now. Maybe we look back at this 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, rewind, you hear me saying this. That's why I have to preface it right now. But Elon Musk is his own dude. He's not going to be a guy where Apple purchases him and then bows down to what Apple asks him to do.
No,
That'll never happen.
He said publicly that the person that takes over the company after he's gone, they have to have the same philosophy. Everything needs to be open source. People need to be able to have access to all his, and that's why he gives away all his information for free. Like the what is it? The thing that goes underground. I forget what it's called.
His tunnel,
the sled.
Yeah.
What is it called?
I can't. Not the Hyperloop.
The Hyperloop.
Hyperloop.
He put that all out. He put all his plans out there in public, free for everyone to use and go build it. And Apple does not do stuff like that ever.
And the other funny thing that you say about Elon Musk, he says, you got to have the same mind, the same passion. Yeah, there's only one Elon Musk. So he's not, exactly. No one's filling that spot anytime soon.
Dude's selling flamethrowers right now for $500 a piece.
Yeah, sold out. I mean, look, Steve Jobs' successor to Apple was Tim Cook. Elon Musk is not going to hire a Tim Cook for him.
No way.
He's not. He's not.
Well, that's all she wrote, man. We are done.
Okay, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging again. We keep it under an hour for you guys, so I'm sorry if your commute is longer than an hour. We're not gonna go longer than an hour. We try not to.
No.
We try to keep it tight for y'all. Thanks so much for watching again. To call us to be a part of the show, 1-800-616-2638. It's the Apple Bite Extra Crunchy. Call us, be a part of the show. We'll be back next week. And, whatever drops is going to drop, all right? Take care. Peace.
Gonna drop.